Don't look now, but the big fella starting to make people feel really ready for the start.
That's a lot of reallys.
That's a lot of reallys for Joel Embiid for the start of the regular season. Now 8 days away. And after practice today, the one-on-ones that Derek and Kyle can talk about after seeing him post-practice on this Tuesday, man, people and the players, the teammates, I'm really excited about their teammate. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge as we come to you 8 days away again from the start of the Sixers season and 1 week exactly from the start of the NBA regular season. We are brought to you by Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more. Derek, Kyle, I'm Devon. Bree is with you. Later on, we got to let you know about some exciting things that the Sixers are still letting you know about for their 25th anniversary. We're all excited about that as well. Looking forward to seeing that. Some other things happening around the league, some news and notes as well. But today after practice, Kyle, the things that you guys were sending out on your social media accounts. Once again, first, let's let everybody know. Make sure you hit that like button, like and subscribe to the show. We love it when you do so at the very top, letting Bree know how much you love her, President of Basketball Operations, and the work that she is doing. Hit that like button throughout. Let us know what we're doing here, how well we're doing or not doing here on the show. Please let us know. But Kyle, today, during practice, post-practice, you guys go in there and you see Joel Embiid doing the one-on-ones. We've been seeing a lot of that post-practice, whether it's Tyrese Maxey and Justin Edwards or VJ Edgecombe, et cetera. Now you're seeing Joel Embiid out there, and while he may still be a little limited in practice certain days, he's still doing some work, and he's getting some really good feedback following post-practice, open practice with the scrimmage on Sunday, but their first time since then where you guys were able to see them and what he was able to do. And as we keep saying, the vibes are really positive right now, really high about him.
It's just always the time where you're like, is the guillotine blade about to fall?
It's the hope that kills you.
It is the hope.
It doesn't feel trustworthy in a lot of ways, right?
It's more of just how are you supposed to balance and feel, right? Yeah.
Right. I said
I have
yesterday.
all these emotions, and I don't know what to do with any of them.
If you can't get positive and optimistic this time of year, you might as well get out of the sports business, right? You might as well get into crocheting or some
99
Legos
and 0,
or
man.
some kind of
99 and 0.
Some could be a real heavy Minecraft player.
Those are the two hobbies that come to mind. First of all, crocheting and Legos.
Yeah. There you go.
People want to go build stuff.
Miles
It's
Turner.
therapeutic for
Miles
people
Turner.
who get, Miles Turner's.
Turner.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So today we walk into practice and we've
Set the
seen a
scene.
lot of these 1v1 battles, right? Every single day for the most part. There have been guys out there going through ones, and Joel Embiid has been by them, watching, cheering, yelling, officiating in some ways on a lot of days. Today we walk in and you see, oh, he's about to go step up and guard somebody. And then, oh, he's about to go, once he gets his stop, he's going to go score on some people. And the funniest thing, and a lot of you have seen the video. If not, I'm sure Bree will pull it up at some point during the show. The early possessions we saw were just hysterical because it's a reminder of how much bigger Joel is than some of these guys. It looked like a dad playing basketball with his son in the driveway at a local YMCA, whatever it is, and just like, hey, little man, you're too small. I'm taking you down to the block. I'm going to drop a nice, easy hook shot over the top of you. And he's out there having fun, too, right? We talk about the mental side of all this for Joel Embiid, off the floor, on the floor, the holistic approach to his health. He's got a big old smile on his face. Now, what I didn't film as much of later on in these one-on-one sessions that we were all getting a real kick out of, he got into some heated battles with Paul George where Joel's calling for fouls and Paul's able to force a turnover or he knocks it out of bounds at one point. And Joel's like, no, he got me. And they're like really yelling back and forth, animated about these 1v1 things. And the vibe is just so much different than it was last year, where it really did feel to some extent that it was like Joel in his own private Idaho, like a bubble boy situation. You see him going through jump shot practice afterward and going through some things. but not really together with his teammates in the same way, which is not to say that was a deliberate thing or like a malicious thing on his part. But I think he's just trying to figure out, where am I physically? Where am I mentally? When am I going to play? When will my body feel as right as it needs to, right? And so we see all that. And then we talked to Nick Nurse afterward, and he says it's on the table that Joel will play in Friday's preseason finale, which we just talked about yesterday as like, I still don't think that's going to happen. A friend of the podcast, ESPN's Tim Bontemps, apparently said on the Hoop Collective either yesterday or today that he thinks there was a good chance Joel is going to play. So there's a lot of smoke building toward Joel's available Friday. And to me, that's the clearest indication we've gotten yet. He's fairly likely to play in that opener, and that would be a huge boost to start the season.
Coming away from this scrimmage on Sunday, and Derek and I were like, man, he looks good enough where he might be, if they clear him, ready to play in a little over a week. And what might that look like? And after hearing you guys talk about that, having Monday off, and then you guys walking in the gym, and that being the sentiment, that is pretty good. So let's hear Nick Nurse from practice today, post-practice. Speaking of what Kyle just pointed out, Derek gives his thoughts, and let's hear Nick Nurse right here.
Now, a couple of days from the scrimmage, now that Joel's had those couple of days, how did he respond to that?
Yeah. From all accounts, he responded fine. He was in practice again today with, looking good, feeling good. So he just did the beginning parts of practice today, but that's as planned, right? So, but I do think he responded well to it. So it's like we're continuing to cross thresholds.
Do you think there's any chance that Joel plays in that final season?
I think there's some chance, yeah. I don't think we're there yet. It's a little early in the week to decide, but I think it still could go either way. We got some thresholds to get over yet, I think, before we get to that point.
Thank you, Nick Nurse, for saying thresholds to get over and not some form of we'll see where we are on the ramp.
Well, but threshold is this year's ramp because he said that like 3 or 4 times now. So that is,
Yes,
we're going to have thresholds to clear all year long.
Yeah.
And look, I'm still skeptical about him playing in Friday, not because I don't think he could, just because I don't think a lot of people in that organization see the value in
The
him
incentive
doing
structure
so.
there.
Yeah. But like it is, and I'm not dismissing the possibility. I'm just skeptical of it. It does. I've said this time and time again. Like it's just they're, and going back to what Kyle was talking about the vibe of the preseason and training camp compared to last year. Last year, it felt like you were held captive by an injury that nobody had any control over. This year, it just seems like it's barely even on people's mind. Like it's barely registering. Like clearly it's something you have to watch out for, something you have to take note of, something you're always looking out for symptoms of, but it doesn't seem like it's controlling anyone at this point, Embiid included. And he's just been playing for so long without any reported setback and really without any time that we haven't seen him on the basketball court. It's hard not to think he should be in the opening or in the lineup on opening night. If he's not, I swear we better not hear like, oh, this was part of the plan. No, if he's not playing opening night, there is a setback now because that man has been playing basketball for a lot. So it is, I don't know how not to be optimistic at this point. And I understand I'm saying that while leaving myself open to heartbreak.
And after a full summer of like, don't rely on it.
Well, but it is something where like we talked about, all right, you're not relying on Embiid. You've got the 3 young guards that you're invested in, that you're really interested in. But there is this whatever percentage chance of it going well. Maybe now if that was a 5% chance of going well before, maybe you're up to a 15% now. Who knows? Doesn't mean you're relying on it, but like that jolt of like, oh man, there might actually be something really interesting here is definitely picking up steam.
Where we were though, let's say a month ago, where we didn't know, where we weren't talking like this. We were wondering when it was going to be the first time that we saw him. We knew we would see him at Media Day, but how much will we see after Media Day and what that might mean for this basketball team. But for people to start to feel optimistic about what they're seeing, number one, after seeing the 5-second clip, then the 6 or 7 second clip that they would tweet out on their social accounts. And then for us to get that open practice, that really opened everybody's eyes that, number one, yes, the 25 pounds were lost last summer after the Olympic play going into media day. But it still didn't do anything, as we discussed yesterday, because he only played 19 games. But now to drop even more weight and then seeing him. And I said to Derek right before we started, Bree were doing something else, and I looked at Derek and I said, man, he looks smaller in this picture. Even though we've seen him up close and personal, even the picture, he looks so much smaller. But he's still, as you can talk about a little bit later with Kelly Oubre, he's still a large human out there that can still dominate and do the things that he did, as we were watching some of those clips from your tweets out there about what he was doing. So I think it's fair for everybody because of, number one, we go back. I just go back to the tank helmets from last year. That the joke of what
I didn't understand when we were
was,
making a joke was going to cause you so much trauma. I apologize about that.
The joke of what that was, what the season turned into, for us to do that, and for us to all feel and have questions and wonder what's next with this franchise, and going through the entire offseason of what the number 3 pick mean, talking about Kaman Maluach as a possible pick at number 3, or even trading back to get him because you don't know what's going on with your franchise center, to going through the rest of the summer with no update, no idea, no Joel Embiid.
That was a big
in
storyline,
sight.
right? They said 6 weeks, and then there are
And then
no
there's
formal
nothing.
updates, and people are like, "Why aren't there
Right.
any updates?" And
Why-
that's a fair stance to have as the public, because
Why did he
you've
have
been
to-
led astray by this organization.
Why did he have the
before.
procedure so late?
Yeah.
All of that stuff was in play and on the table. So for us to now see it with our own eyes up close and personal on Sunday, and then you guys getting back into the gym today for that practice following that. And while there were some, a little bit, he didn't play the whole practice. He did some limited things, but we know that has been his schedule anyway. And preseason, we've asked each other this question over and over again. There's no way he plays in the preseason, right? Well, Nick Nurse said there's a possibility that he could play in the preseason after maybe passing some thresholds that are still there. We were not here as early as a month ago. We know we weren't there 2 months ago and 3 months ago, but now 8 days away from the start of the regular season for them, a few days away from their final preseason game, and he could maybe play in it. That is something that we did not expect. So I think it's fair for it, like you said, Derek, to have your heart broken again, or for the fans and the people in the chat having their heart broken again. It's fair to be optimistic, but also being very protective of your feelings because you don't know what it's going to turn into. But a lot of us didn't think that he would even be ready for the start of the regular season against the Boston Celtics because there was no shot. We didn't know what was going on with his knee. And while we still don't know, there aren't any setbacks right now with him. And it's a really good thing to look at as we go into this season, knowing what we had to deal with all of last season, even from the very start. While we didn't know it, we saw it, but we were protecting ourselves of, it's not going to be this bad. They'll get it together.
Surely they'll figure it out.
They'll get it
at some
together.
point.
And little did we know 12 months ago that that is what it was going to look like. And for where we are right now, it's fine for everybody to start to feel a little bit better about where things are right now with Embiid and the Sixers.
It's not just fine. I would encourage it, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying to anybody go place bets on the Sixers winning the title or obviously you guard yourself against the worst, right? And the Sixers have put you through the worst time and time again in many different ways. But this is the time, from what we are seeing, from all of us have known and covered and seen Joel up close and personal for a long, long time now, right? And he is someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, right? You can tell when he's pissed off, when he's sad, when he's happy, whatever it might be. And the guy that I see in that gym right now is someone who, he said it this summer, someone who's more at peace with himself, right? More at peace with where his body is, where his mentality is, what the team looks like, right? What his responsibilities are. It's someone who just feels comfortable and happy is the impression that I get from talking to him, from watching him interact with people. And that is not where we were a year ago, right? I think he tried to put on a good face. yeah, I just got to go through the right steps and blah, 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 blah. And we'll see. Once I'm back, I'll be back. But there was always something just a little bit off, right? You could sense it talking to him and certainly watching him play basketball, right? So I'm not saying to anyone, go crazy, but this is what needed to happen in order to start to build the momentum, in order to start to turn this into a team that can do some damage. You had to get this guy back to fighting shape. And by all accounts, from his teammates, coaches, people around the team, he seems to be inching closer to where he needs to be.
Speaking of his teammates, we'll hear from Quentin Grimes on the other side and what he had to say. He just returned to the team, just getting back into the mix with his teammates, practicing and out there with the group. What did he have to say about Joel Embiid? Also, say what in the chat? Too late, Kyle. I just took out a second mortgage for the Sixers in 6. So with that, we'll be back.
This is not gambling or investment advice ever.
Optimism,
to be clear,
it's high. And should the rest of the NBA be on notice if this is real? We'll discuss that too when we get back as we hang out with you on a Tuesday, 8 days away from the start of the Sixers regular season, 7 for the league. And the Sixers are letting everybody know, hey, watch out for us. We'll discuss it all when we get back. Quentin Grimes next, right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
Well, like Devon said, we are 8 days away from the start of the regular season.
Count them down.
And if you are even thinking about going to a friend's house, you better go over there right now and vet their setup, because the one thing you don't want to do is get there and it be lagging or buffering or them not having a clue what they are doing. Because if you call yourself a basketball fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination where you can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place. The way that you watch is next level. You got all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like you're in the arena. On top of that, you get real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
All right, you're excited. You're bouncing off the walls because you're excited with Joel Embiid possibly playing in the season opener. And as you bounce off that wall, you bang that shoulder. There you go, getting too excited. Or getting a little Tykes hoop in the house and dunking on your kids because you're trying to act like you're Joel Embiid over them. Well, that's where you got to go to Rothman Orthopedics after spraining that ankle or banging that shoulder. With joint pain or injury, when it's disrupting your routine, getting the right care shouldn't be a hassle. Rothman Orthopedics, they make it easy with convenient office locations throughout the region, plus walk-ins and urgent care centers when you need help and when you need them fast. Whether it's a new injury or something that's been bothering you for a while, expert orthopedic care is just around the corner. So, after dominating the kids and getting excited for your home basketball team, schedule your appointment today after you banged up your arm or your ankle at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, their mission.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's been looking great. You know, I'm just compared to when I got here last year and seen him last summer, and maybe or last season. Then through the summer, you can tell he's been a tremendous shape with his body. He's coming in, even with some of the live stuff that he does. He looks like pretty much getting back to his old self. So it's been really good to see him out there. He hops in with us sometimes within the scrimmages and stuff like that. But he looked really good so far, for sure.
Quentin Grimes back with the team. We're back here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics and teammates. Speaking openly, Tyrese Maxey, obviously we've heard him a ton speaking about it. Adem Bona after the scrimmage as well. Kelly Oubre has talked a bunch about Joel Embiid and how good he looks. Kyle, you'll tell us shortly about what he had to say about Joel Embiid in the one-on-ones. But hearing it again, Derek, not only through all of last week, scrimmage on Sunday, Quentin Grimes back for basically a full week with the team since they returned from Abu Dhabi, and him saying Joel Embiid. And he didn't get a chance to play a lot with him in the regular season. Yep. Yeah.
No, and that is interesting because he's a guy who came in obviously mid-season, didn't really have a chance to play with Joel. Kind of saw Joel when he was at his worst, and that's the only real experience he has with him. Both at his worst, probably in terms of like just how he was like mentally, just because it was so draining on him, and also just how he was moving around. So for him to see where he was then and then compare it to where he is now, that's a pretty interesting reference point. And you know, it is. Look, every player that we've talked to, every coach that we've talked to has pretty much said how good of a spot Joel is compared to where he was before, whether that's Maxi, at media day talking about where he is mentally, whether that's just using our own eyes and seeing where he is physically, whether that's all of the practices and workouts he's gone through without having a setback. It really does feel like a completely different version than what we saw last year, and in all the right directions.
Yeah. Look, Quentin Grimes has been up against Joel and felt the wrath of Joel.
That's where I was going to
right?
go, Kyle. Yep.
Right. It's like, so while he didn't get to experience, hey, this is what it's like to be the sidekick or the partner in some of these DHOs with Joel and the type of gravity he commands, he has certainly seen Joel out there at his best, right? He's played against Joel in games where Joel's dropping an easy 35, he's shooting 15 free throws, and whoever's guarding him is just throwing their hands in the air and saying, what the hell am I supposed to do against this guy, right? And like today's 1v1s are not the greatest indicator of that, right? Because Joel's not going to be guarded by the likes of Kelly Oubre and
Small
Jabari
steps,
Walker
man.
and
Small
Tyrese
steps.
Maxey and whoever, right? So not saying that that's an indicator that, hey, 30 points per game, Joel Embiid is back, baby. But I think Quentin Grimes has been in the league long enough, has experienced the high of Joel Embiid on the other side of it and the low of Joel Embiid as a teammate enough to say, hey, if this guy is looking how I remember him looking, then we can do some damage, right? And again, otherwise, Quentin is saying a lot of the just, I'm here to do whatever Nick tells me to do. And so I would imagine that he is pretty excited to get some opportunities with Joel, because while he is not in that exact JJ Redick, Jared McCain, even Seth Curry type of mold, right? He's got more downhill ability than probably all those guys. So the ability to put him in some DHO actions with Joel, play a little two-man game, so much as he's going to do that, that will give Quentin Grimes options coming out of those looks. It'll also give Joel Embiid some different options, right? Because when Tyrese Maxey goes to the bench, okay, maybe McCain is not going to be ready to start the season, but you can still do some of the dribble handoff work that works for both parties with a Quentin Grimes, because he is dangerous coming around those screens and hitting jump shots. So I would imagine, especially because now he's got all this contractual stuff on the line again this year, he's got to be like, please, big fella, please stay healthy, because the more you're out there, the easier the shots are going to be for me, and the more I can prove I am worth that big money.
I always say it to you guys, man. Players that haven't played with him, and they get to see a different version of what it looks like with him now being their teammate versus going against him, and how things open up on the floor with him being there and occupying so much space and attention. That Quentin Grimes, to your point, is totally different. This was something, honestly, that, look, I was wrong, but it was something that I thought that version of the Josh Richardson, not the shooter that Quentin Grimes, but the downhill play that Josh Richardson played with Miami Heat when he got here. He's not JJ Redick. He wasn't Seth Curry, but could he do more?
A classic fake good Miami Heat player.
Yeah. But I thought with the downhill stuff of, hey, Joel is there. When
I'm with
come
you.
around that down screen, that, hey, he can put the ball back on the floor, where JJ Redick and Seth Curry are really just pulling up, or maybe one extra dribble will let the flyby go and take that shot. This is a souped up version of that, because we saw him getting to the basket last season in the Sixers uniform, finishing at the rim. Not just layup packages, man. He would turn that ball over and dunk it on people, surprising a lot of people of his finishing ability at the rim by punching it on someone. So with that being said, I think that is something that Quentin Grimes, yes, in a season where he's going to be playing for some money, do your thing. Do the thing you're supposed to do. Be that third leading scorer, as I predicted, on this basketball team, and that will make you a lot of money going forward, playing alongside Joel Embiid.
Speaking of third leading scorers, Paul George was pretty active after practice.
So I was going to ask, that was another thing that just simply stood out. He's going against Joel Embiid in these one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Not only that, he had a pretty intense post-practice workout as well with members of the Sixers training staff. Now, I will say, I would still temper it against, I don't think that he's that close to returning based on, so today we got the update from the Sixers that Joel was a partial participant as planned in practice. Watford and PG were essentially reintroduced into team activities today. And so for today to be kind of day one of you're back in the mix, I don't think it's 8 days out from the opener. That does not suggest to me that either of those guys will be available on opening night. I don't know that for sure. And, stranger things have happened. We were just talking about Joel not playing in the preseason yesterday. But I think Paul George right now looks pretty good. It looks like he's on schedule. And the fact that he's getting in the mix with some of these post-practice workouts and has looked as good as he has in some of those settings is definitely encouraging. I just would say the theme there still is I think he's behind where Joel is, and I think he's coming back later than Joel will. I don't know how much later, but definitely later.
No, it definitely sounds like Paul is behind Joel, and quite frankly, it sounds like Watford might be behind Paul. So we will see how quickly those two can get back and get up to speed. But even that, like Paul right now, like when he had that surgery, this is probably farther along than I was expecting. And it is weird to be sitting here and feel optimistic about the health of your top players, but I'm starting to get a little bit optimistic about the health, or at least the progress that they are making. And it has felt for so long that this version of the team that Daryl Morey put together was so theoretical. And it looks like we at least might have a chance. And who knows how long that runway will be. I said the other R word. Who knows how long that runway will be, but it seems like we might get a chance to actually evaluate it with your top six. I'm going to include VJ and Grimes and whatnot in there, and McCain. Obviously, McCain's still a little bit away. But it does seem like we are getting closer and closer and closer to getting a real chance of seeing the vision that Daryl Morey put together play out on the basketball court.
Yeah, just watching Paul George, was there any notice of watching your video? I didn't see anything necessarily outside of compression on his knee. Didn't really see much of anything holding him back. I know on Sunday he did not have anything on his knee, but just more compression, and that's pretty much it, right? That's what it looked like.
I didn't really take a close-up shot, but that's all I saw.
Yeah, I think most of us were locked in on Bigfoot walking around the gym playing 1v1 with people. So Paul fell a little bit down the pecking order there, but yeah, nothing that was like a noticeable brace.
But again, with all of the surprising things about Joel Embiid, I mean, who's to say? I agree with you guys. I don't think he'll be ready for opening night, even as we are much, much closer and we feel better about Joel Embiid potentially being ready. I don't feel like Paul George will play opening night, maybe not even the first week of the season for the Sixers. That's something that's going to have a little bit of a longer runway. We'll get to Trendon Watford on the other side. But as far as Paul George goes, I mean, they need him back. If we're talking about this team being a team that the NBA has to watch out for, could they shock some people and make a little bit more noise than was expected? He has to be out there. You can put Barlow and Watford and Walker into that starting 4 spot, but for so long, you still need Paul George and everything that he brings from the defense and the offense, the IQ of just simply being the player that they signed him for to that big contract. They need him out there. So he's back out there on the floor. It's encouraging once again to see him doing his work, and they desperately need him to get going, because if they are going to start to, we keep saying stacking wins, maybe we need to stack a wins jar too. But if they are able to stack the wins at the very top, you want to keep building.
There are only
on
so
that.
many jars we can keep. Then it starts turning into a complex,
Yes,
and it's like, I don't know. I don't think I'm comfortable with that.
But in order for them to, I think in order for them to be the team that they think they are, he has to be out there on the floor. It's just bottom line.
I mean, set aside how much he's making and like how that impacts all the roster decisions and whatnot. With the way Justin Edwards has played, and with Kelly Oubre's limitations, right? Like Kelly has a role and has things he does well for this team, but the shot is always going to be an issue. So they don't have a reliable wing that can play both ends of the floor, essentially, right? They don't have a guy that's just like, we put him out there, we trust him defensively, trust him to space the floor, we trust him to create. Like that's why players like Paul George get paid so much money, because the amount of people on earth who are 6'8" and can dribble the ball and shoot and pass and defend and are like smart, cerebral basketball players, a very short list, right? So despite the fact that he was in his mid-30s, it's why they brought him in. And if he's not healthy, they're going to have to cobble it together with 3 guard lineups. They're going to have to rely on people like Dominic Barlow is at a great preseason, but very unproven as an NBA player. They're going to have to rely on potentially Jabari Walker for 4 minutes and just figure out a workable rotation, because the backup options on the wing behind Paul are not great. Right? They are a guard-heavy team. And they're a guard-heavy team where one of the main guards is already hurt and not going to be available to start the season. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like whatever you guys think of Paul George, and I get that people are super down on him after last season, especially at his contract number, especially at his age. He is by far the best wing on this roster. So they need him to get healthy sooner rather than later.
One of the other wings that we mentioned, we got an update on him as well. Trendon Watford. We'll hear what the coach had to say about Trendon Watford. We'll talk about the Sixers, letting everybody know more things about the 25th anniversary and much more. Final break, final pause for us right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. There was some big games last night in pro football. I'm sure you placed your wagers.
I talk trash about those Bears, and look at them now, Devon.
Look, walk-off win, and maybe you did bet that. Maybe you live bet at Bet365, where whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, with no football being played tonight, you do have some preseason action. And most importantly, you have some Major League Baseball playoffs going on right now. So if you are like us and you already have it downloaded, you need to be one of those 90 million users worldwide with live streams of 780,000 events each year. Hockey is back as well. Maybe you want to get in the mix. But as far as Major League Baseball and the early payout offer, you're a winner if the team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections. Marked as winners, download the app, use code PHLY365 when you do sign up. And breaking news for new customers at Bet365, $200 in bonus bets you get when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up. Once again, use code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Go. Make sure you check it out at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And you guys remember when BG strip sacked the GOAT for the first Philly Super Bowl ever? Well, now BG's bringing us his Crooked T strip sack pack to savor the flavor. What is the strip sack pack? It's big, it's heavy, it's juicy. The type of pack you want to show off, right? You already know Crooked T is 0 sugar and all flavor. And the strip sack pack is stuffed with 24 cans and collectible trading cards by Jordan Spector. Some cards are even signed by BG himself. Every case packing heat from the fridge to the tailgate. It's one sack you're going to be proud to display. So grab yours at a store near you or on GoPuff. And for our guy BG, we have to send a shout out to the Philly area bars carrying Crooked T, like Sport and Social Allentown, Garage Fishtown, City Tap and Logan Square, Wicked Wolf on Chestnut. Go check them out for game day or a night out and tell them that PHLY Sports sent you.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast here on this Tuesday. And we got to let everybody know about one more thing, Kyle. Let's tell everybody.
Do we? Could it be a trip?
Flyers got a W. Got their first W last night.
You know who broke the curse of Philly sports? Hip hop, but we're going to come back to that in a minute. Yeah. After the curse was broken, the Fly Guys got a win. Are you guys ready for the ultimate Flyers getaway? PHLY and Philly Sports Trips taking the Diehards west for the California takeover with Flyers legend John LeClair from March 17th to the 22nd, hitting the West Coast for 2 huge games. First, the Anaheim Ducks at Honda Center, then the LA Kings at Crypto.com Arena. Your package includes optional round-trip direct flights from Philly, 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn Santa Monica, group tickets to both games, Flyers watch party, and an exclusive meet and greet.
Exclusive.
With John LeClair, plus the Philly Sports Trips crew will be there to handle every detail. Enjoy the sun, the sights, and the hockey. And maybe you'll get in the background of Charlie's practice notes from the beach. This is the California vacation every Flyers fan dreams of, with a couple wins to top it off. Spots are limited. Book your trip today at allphly.com/events.
There you go. First win of the season for the Flyers last night. Good win for them. They're in the win column. If you like what we're doing, make sure you hit the like button. Like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you love what Bree is doing, you make sure you hit that like button as well. And Bree is about to play and let us know what Nick Nurse had to say about Trendon Watford.
were just told that Trendon participated in parts of practice. I guess just where is he at, and do you feel like given the limitations that he's had, that you have like a firm grasp of how he fits into all of this? Do you feel like it's been sort of a missed opportunity to not have him out there as much as he probably would like to?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, it's been a missed opportunity. I mean, he did, some of the introductory stuff in practice today, so I would imagine there's still a little ways to go before we even get him out there and in some live action. And hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be soon. Yeah, I think that makes evaluating really hard. He hasn't really done anything in the fall or the training camp to date. But when we get him back, we'll throw him in there and see what he's got. That's all we can do. Yeah.
Hammies are tricky, man.
Yeah.
Nick Nurse speaking about Trendon Watford and the hamstring injury, how they're going about their business.
I mean, it really was like when it first happened, it seemed like it was going to be maybe not day to day, but like, yeah, we'll see how he is next week.
We're just being cautious. We'll see him soon.
Next thing you know, it's been 2 weeks and we have no real idea when in the future he's going to be actually able to play, like 5-on-5 basketball, much less a game. It is disappointing because I think that's a player a lot of people had some real interest in and has a unique skill set. And certainly, like, look, we're still in mid-October, but there's a lot that he has missed and a lot that, he could have gotten up to speed on because he is a player who has a pretty tricky, for a role player, he's a pretty tricky fit as a low volume shooting, kind of power forward-ish kind of player who also likes to initiate, but doesn't really shoot all that well and doesn't really rebound all that great and doesn't protect the rim. So he's a really unique player on both sides of the floor that you'd love to see, like, all right, well, which combinations of players does he work well next to? Which combination of players really accentuate his strengths and what kind of role do you want to put him on when he's on the floor? And you just haven't had a chance to do any of that.
Yeah, not that you want anyone to be injured in the preseason, but if you were picking guys who could probably least afford to miss the preseason, he'd be up there for me because of all the problems that Derek is talking about. I've said this all offseason, dating back to when he was in college and people were talking about him as a prospect, the number one thing at the top of every, I want to say like weaknesses list, but the skepticism column, we'll say, was this guy plays a certain way, but he is not, a blinding star talent, and he's not necessarily going to be able to play this way in the NBA. Well, how does he make it work, right? And so largely that is still the question, is like, how do you get the most out of what Trendon Watford is good at while also putting the team in the best position to succeed? Those two things don't always necessarily overlap. So what we wanted to see in the preseason was, hey, can you take that passing ability that he shows on the move as a ball handler and turn him into a short roll guy, right? Put him in a pick and roll or a DHO with a Maxey, with an Edgecombe, with a McCain. They get trapped. He gets the ball. He's playing in a 4-on-3. How does he react to that, right? What does he do when he's just a 6'8" guy in the dunker spot, right? Who doesn't have explosive athleticism, but does have some size where you just need him to be the release valve, or potentially someone who's going to hit a quick 1-2 combination play with a Joel Embiid, with Andre Drummond, with a Dembona, one of the other bigs in the front court. Those are all things we didn't get to see, right? And so right now, I almost still look at him as he's still a jumbo guard, right? And jumbo guard is still a valuable and useful thing for this team because, as Nick Nurse has laid out throughout the preseason, one of the goals of this tweak in the offense and how they want to play is get Maxey off the ball more, get Jared McCain off the ball more, get some of these guys off the ball that last year are just getting hounded and blitzed and trapped because the other team knew they didn't have any other options. So let's run those guys off screens. Let's put more ball handling on the floor. Let's find ways to get the shooters to be shooters instead of guys who are just doing 6 different things at once. So I still have hope for Watford, certainly. Not throwing him out of the team because he was injured in the preseason, but it is a real shame that he has not been able to get any real reps with these guys.
Especially after we had gotten that news about McCain right before camp and media day, and nothing about Watford. We thought everything was good, but obviously nothing there. So to your point, though, this is one that we looked at because he was the big free agent signing of the offseason outside of waiting and finding out what was going to happen with Grimes and Yabusele. Once you got Watford, there was like, okay, this is very interesting because this is the type of player that does a whole lot of different stuff, not super athletic and all, but has a certain type of game that, as Tyrese Maxey has pointed out, they don't have a lot of on this roster. So to be able to have that big type of guard that can still size-wise play in the front court, defend some of those positions as well, and bring a different element to this basketball team, we wanted to see him. And with Paul George being out, he was the likely candidate that we thought would be in that 4 spot if Paul George wasn't going to be ready, if we didn't find out about Barlow or Walker and what they were going to be, keeping them in their natural spots behind him. Well, right now, they're in front of him. They both played well. Barlow has played the best. And Watford, he's going to get a chance because, again, of the acquisition and how important he was in the offseason. But those guys are you leave an opportunity for somebody and they take advantage of it, they're going to do that. They're going to do it.
No, and there's so many players vying for that spot, whether that's, Walker, whether that's Barlow, whether that's Dembona in a big lineup, whether that's my personal favorite and Andre Drummond just to see if Kyle lose his mind. Either way, there's going to be a lot of players now who are looking at that and saying like, all right, look, maybe Watford was the front runner coming in. He was the one signed to an NBA contract. He's not like a Dem or Andre where you would look, I'm kidding with DeAndre, just to be clear. He's not like a Dem where you would pencil
Andre
him in
was
as a
shooting
backup
a lot of
center.
threes after practice today.
He was
So.
really working on it. Then they asked Nick about it. He's like, we'll
He's
see
like,
if
we
it actually
saw it
works
in the preseason
game.
last year and then never saw it again.
But there's a lot of players, Barlow and Walker, I'm thinking specifically, a little bit with a Dembona too, who are looking at like, all right, I've got a chance. Like I've got a real chance here. Maybe not to start. Maybe they end up going small to start, but possibly to start, but certainly to get a more significant role than I was expecting. Yeah. And sometimes you give someone that kind of chance. And look, it's not like Jabari Walker hasn't gotten a significant amount of NBA minutes in his career, but you get a little bit of a boost. You get a chance to make a really good impression with the coaching staff, and you get a chance to fit in with your teammates. It's just you're giving your competition a leg up. That being said, I still really want to see Watford, so I hope he gets back healthy soon.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. A lot of people asking about a few people. I see Ed King in there, and I saw Coleman Potts asking about our starting 5. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
We have talked about it a bit, though.
Yeah.
I am of the mindset that I want to see them play 3 guards with Paul George and Joel Embiid, but they also all need to be healthy enough to do that, and we'll see. But we're going to have a couple of big prediction shows coming up where we'll get into a lot more in depth with all that.
Chase Mudd asks, is Walker on a 2-way?
Yes.
Yes, he is on a 2-way. So
Walker, Barlow, Salas?
Yes.
Those are 3 2-ways.
Those are the 3 2-ways. Also, Quentin Grimes looks like there's a possibility that he could play on Friday. Nick Nurse said that there's a chance for that to happen.
Grimes said pretty directly, like, that's the plan. So if he does not play, then we have Quentin Grimes' word that it was not planned, and then we can go from optimism, positivity, are people sleeping on the Sixers, to panic, the sky is falling, and the house is on fire. So we'll hopefully Quentin Grimes plays on Friday so we don't have to do the doom and gloom show afterward.
All right, so that wraps up the Sixers conversation from practice today. Joel Embiid and the optimism and how the league may have to be on notice if he bounces back in that same type of form that he was in before. Let's talk about Nick Nurse a little bit, because Nick Nurse is the one that we've played a few times here on the show, the head coach of this basketball team. And Bree had, as we ask everybody, make sure you like and subscribe to the show because she does such a great job. She saw this one thing on Twitter from The Score that wanted to talk about the NBA coaches under the most pressure heading into this 25-26 campaign. And no surprise, Nick Nurse is on the list. So we wanted to show everybody what that looked like and then ask you, before we show everybody, where do you think, where would you guys place him in terms of
under most pressure?
Under most pressure.
If he's not, there's probably someone who's got a title contender that would be at the top, but if he's not number 1, he's top 3.
How about you?
I can't imagine anyone under more pressure.
Yeah.
It has to Kyle's point, I hedge everything. So like I'll say top 3 too, but I'm not thinking of anyone with more pressure.
You guys are very good because Nick Nurse is number one on this list.
And Doc Rivers makes a lot of sense, right?
Another
'Cause
injury
the existential
roster.
Giannis concerns and all
Darko
that.
is interesting in Toronto because they're rebuilding their team, and I think they're trying to do it with his image. And also, that one's interesting. Willie Green, we talked about that before. Chauncey Billups as well. That rounds out the top 5. But no surprise, Nick Nurse number 1 with the expectations of
the second that season ended. That was the immediate, like, it's Brian Windhorst, it's all the national guys, but also just everyone's common sense being like, boy, it's put up or shut up time for Nick Nurse, for Daryl Morey, for basically the entire organization.
Yes. And so when we saw that, we were talking about it, Bree and I, to show it to you, to show it to the chat. No surprise there. He has to get it done this year in terms of making the playoffs, regular season being way better than we saw last season, and maybe even get a playoff series win to really secure things with his job.
Can I just say one thing in defense of Doc Rivers? I never thought I'd say that string of words. Doc Rivers being second on the list, but being the picture is probably an example of when he got into it with the "would you ask Pop that question," or whatever. I actually think this is a better example of that phenomenon. He's not the number one person being spotlighted, but someone decided Doc Rivers is the face of this. Even still, like I think that's a little unfair to Doc.
I think Doc has more name value recognition.
Sure.
So, yeah.
All I'm saying is,
And
I think
maybe also because
if
of
somebody
the
else is
Giannis-
leading the list, but they still make
I know.
you the face of it,
That
it's
one's
like,
gonna pop.
And
Plus,
maybe
Giannis,
you should put him number one on the list.
Giannis
if
has
he's
been in the
face
mix,
of it.
and Giannis' thing has been high for the last 4 or 5 days. So they're like, Milwaukee. Let's just go right to Milwaukee on this
Remember when he took over the Bucks job after angling for it? By the way, and he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't wish this job on anyone, but I'll do it."
He's like the funniest thing with Doc.
His friend in the knees with that one too.
The funniest thing with Doc is like I really did enjoy chatting with him like on the side. Like he's a very affable guy.
Yep.
But then you put him up with that podium and the explanations he would give. I'm like, Doc, what are you talking about? You said like yesterday you said the exact opposite, and a week ago you said a third explanation for the same thing. And now that it's all over, it's everybody else's fault.
It's Glenn, man.
He's a character, man.
Glenn,
Absolute character.
Yeah,
Would
he
probably
is.
be a great guy to like go to dinner, play golf with. But
Well, he likes his golf.
He likes both. Who was on? I saw a podcast recently. I think it was actually it was an old Paul George podcast clip with DeAndre Jordan, and DeAndre Jordan talked for like 3 minutes about how much Doc loves Nobu and Malibu. that was like his number one. So he has his places. He likes some good eats and some good golf. Anyway, that's enough Doc Rivers talk for today.
Final one. Last week we talked about Kevin Pelton's stats-based things that he was putting out there with the win total and all of that. A follow-up was done by Kevin Pelton this week, where he actually has predictions for their record for ESPN simulated the 25-26 regular season standings, the final standings. And as we looked at with the Sixers last week, talking about them being 11th, they were 11th. On the final tally here, 37-45 would be their stats-based record based on all the
Watch the
work
games,
that
Kevin Pelton. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I respect Kevin Pelton. I was just doing the anti-analytics.
Also,
character.
watch the scrimmages. Is he factoring in a more bouncy
He makes
Joel
a fair
Embiid?
point, Kevin Pelton. Have you factored blue and white scrimmage Joel Embiid into your prediction model? I don't think so, Buster.
But I think he's factoring in the Trendon Watford not starting the season. That's where it is.
I think he's also probably factoring in the 2 30-plus stars who are never healthy into his prediction model, if I had to guess.
So there's that. Is that the record, everybody? 37.
I sure hope not.
And
I'll take the over.
45.
I will take the over.
I would take the over also. Would you flip that and go 45 and 37, or are you still in that 43 range, maybe over the 42 and a half?
Ask me that next week.
Ask you that next week after game 1 against the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
And we'll see where it goes from there. All right, the big news, huge news from the Sixers yet again. It's all surrounding the 25th anniversary for the Philadelphia 76ers. And that
Need some
is,
like rap air horns for this announcement.
yeah,
right
I know.
now.
You're absolutely right.
Hey,
There you go. Perfect. Right there. The air horns for all of you. He's back. Yes.
hip hop, baby.
Hip hop is back. November 8th, hip hop will be back on the floor with Franklin as he makes his return when the Philadelphia 76ers will wear their black uniforms in honor of the 2000-2001 finals team. Hip hop. It's only right. It's only right.
Yeah, listen,
You do this,
I think he's a
you gotta bring him
ridiculous
back.
mascot, but if you're bringing back those jerseys,
You have to.
You have
You
to.
have
do it.
to.
You got to bring
Like
it.
when Kyle Lowry joked about this on Media Day, like it felt like a foregone conclusion.
By the way, I got immediate texts from people who would know right after that happened that said, hey, by the way, hip hop is coming back. So this has not exactly been like a under lock and key secret in Sixers circles. I said to somebody last night, I want to know what you guys think of this. Sixers people, I know you listen to and watch this show, so feel free to steal this idea. What they should do, first night back, he's obviously been in retirement for a long time, right? You need a fat hip hop video intro, right? He's been sitting on the couch. He's depressed. He's watching the Sixers. He's watching Franklin, that glory hog, steal all his former accolades, and then he gets the call. And then you get the Rocky training montage of fat hip hop in the gym. Whoever their gym sponsor is, you can do the 2.5 pound Jared McCain curls that he laughed about. And then you have hip hop come out of the tunnel all buff and weirdly jacked up the way he used to.
Can it be like a
And
white,
now he's back.
Can it be like a White Goodman at the end of Dodgeball?
Oh, yeah, with like smoke
with the ice cream. And
I don't think you can go that far. The like greasy stomach and all the other. No, not that. That's a little too graphic. I don't need to see all that. But free idea for Sixers PR and promo and game ops.
They've got less than a month. You got time.
It's an easy, you bring him back and then he comes out all jacked. He hits the trampoline and dunks one and probably shatters his leg because he's like 50 whatever years old at this point. But welcome back to hip hop. I thought a lot about this, if you couldn't tell.
It's funny because, like you said, it's kind of a creepy one when it comes to him. He's a weird bunny and all.
He
that
looks like
stuff.
the Donnie Darko rabbit. Is what he
People
looks
like
like.
him and people don't like him, but I think it's just more of the nostalgia of it, where they're like,
Yeah.
welcome him back. Come on, it's fine. Bring him back.
Look, if we're being objective, Franklin is a more like you're more comfortable, especially like little like 4-year-old kids. You can see them being more comfortable around Franklin.
You say that. Look at how the kids react to Gritty. And
Yeah,
he's
that's true.
creepy as hell.
That's true.
So you just need to be big and fuzzy. And frankly, hip hop is not really that. So,
No, he's not. But he has to be back for this reunion.
yeah,
Like he has to be.
There was no way to do this without hip hop.
yes.
Just there was no way.
And I frankly miss hip hop a little bit. I don't know. I kind of liked hip hop.
You
I
mentioned-
kind of liked it.
I don't get the Gritty.
I don't get the.
Well,
I'm just saying.
here's what happened with the Gritty
Well, the
thing.
national people started dunking on him. They're
That's
like,
exactly
F
it.
you. That's our guy.
That's right. Stay out of family business. But
yeah.
The initial Philadelphia
I don't
reaction
get it.
was words I can't say on the show, but what the hell?
right.
And then you got people from outside of the Philadelphia city limits who are like, what is this stupid thing? And all of a sudden, Philadelphia said, you know what? That's our guy.
Exactly.
Shut the hell up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I get it. I
get
do
that,
the same thing.
but I don't get the whole the Gritty thing. But
Hey.
welcome, Gritty. What's
Respect
up?
the Gritty.
Bree put up a quick poll at the end of the show. Which one? Franklin or hip hop?
Do you remember when they
going
did they threw the tentative options out there before
Yes.
Franklin?
I saw
Yeah,
it.
the
Who were
Moose.
you on board for? Who was your guy or gal? I guess it
The
could have
best
been.
one was the Moose,
Yeah, thank you.
but they were all bad.
Phil E. Moose
Yes.
should be the
They
mascot
were
of
all
this
bad.
team.
They were all bad.
What does a moose have to do with the Sixers?
Nothing.
His name was Philly. That's what he had to do with
The
it.
only one
You could have made him Philly Franklin though too. Like that's not.
Well, they
Was
did
there a
it.
Franklin
They
on there?
blew it.
There was a something B Franklin.
Yeah.
The Ballin' Ben or whatever.
Yeah,
the
that
heck.
was. But no,
Honestly, that would have been funny.
Was
to
it like
just see-
Franklin B Dog or something like that?
something like that. Yeah. But I'm cool with Franklin the dog.
I was about to
Friend-
make a
friend of the
motion on this show that our fast providers would not have liked. So
Oh,
Come
there
on,
you go,
the
Bree.
moose.
There you go, Bree.
Also, that dog is much better than Franklin. That's like a bloodhound in an Uncle Sam costume.
Friend of the show might be in here before the start of the season. Just saying. So,
You're not talking about Philly Moose. You're talking about Franklin.
Franklin.
Put some respect on Philly Moose is all I'm saying.
Look at the Rocky Road.
We do serious journalism around here, and that means saying that Philly Moose was robbed.
Oh,
Robbed!
man. People asking where's
My
Big
voice
Shot?
is cracking.
What were the
up
other
there.
one? There was like a Ben Franklin looking person, right?
Yeah, it was
And then what
like
else?
Ballin' Ben. No,
Yeah.
I think it was the dog, the moose, and Ben Franklin.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the extent to which we have creativity in Philadelphia. It's like, dog, thing with antlers, founding father. That's all they got.
That's right, Kyle, right? Bree stays on point. Look at that. She got that one ready to go. There's all of them right
Yeah, the
there.
Franklin you just cross off the list. Like that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, that was bad.
What is the yellow hat? That looks like AI.
Is it a bell? I think it's a
Oh my
bell.
God.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay tuned. You never know who's going to
Philly
pop
Moose
up.
crossing the Delaware
studio.
would have moved mountains. I'm telling you.
Stay tuned, everybody. We might have a guest in studio next week.
I will always stand with Philly Moose.
Except for next week.
No,
Then we're
next
all-
week
all
I'll
Franklin
tell him. I was
fans.
like, hey, Franklin, you had your shot. I want the moose.
Get ready. It's Big Shot being left out of all this. A lot of people talking about
There
Big
were
Shot.
a lot of people, a lot of Big
Big
Shot
Shot left
supporters
out
who are
of the
100
When did
years
they
old.
phase
yeah.
Big Shot out? When was that?
After they changed those uniforms, I believe, once they started going into the Barkley era, like he was really
Okay.
taking over, I think.
So who was after? Who was between Big Shot?
I
and,
don't know if they
I don't
Was
remember
there
that
one?
either.
I don't
It
think
might
they
have
had
been like a
mascot.
mascotless
Okay.
era.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I was gonna say because I don't really remember Big Shot, but I also don't
I do.
remember hip hop being like before Iverson.
I just hip hop is the only mascot I remember as a kid. So
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
there
Big
could
Shot.
have been another one, but
I don't remember anything after Big Shot.
look at that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Sixers gritty right there.
It really is.
That's what
It's
he
blue
is.
gritty.
But it was what I grew up on, so it was.
Yeah.
it was
I'm,
fine.
I'm not criticizing Big Shot.
was
There's
fine.
obviously a big shot hive that emerged after the hip hop announcement. This is the most mascot talk I've ever done in my life, by the way, and that we've definitely ever done on this show.
Good stuff.
Bring
Bree.
back actually
Great work, Bree.
my final mascot take. And I had this when they were like, we have to do a crowd search and figure out what we're doing with the new Sixers mascot. The Philly Fanatic should just be the mascot for the entire city. It's the one thing that the Phillies do right because the
overworking.
sport is ridiculous. Just have the Philly Fanatic and
Throw something
the
at him, please.
Galapagos cousins
When
in
does he get
different
a break?
colors.
Because there's no gap in the seasons.
I don't care. He's the like we're not spoiling anything. It's not like you need the same guy in the costume all the time.
Right.
The Philly Fanatic can be in two places at once. It's not like there are weddings that the Philly Fanatic shows up to.
Games going
the night
on
of a
at
Phillies
the same
game.
time, and you
It's
got to
like,
run
hey guys,
from across
by the way,
street.
Santa Claus also can be in multiple places at once. We're trying to figure out how that
Whoa, this
happens.
is a family-friendly
We're trying
show.
to
What are
figure
you
out how that
doing?
happened.
Oh man, everybody, this is hilarious. Make sure you get ready for he's back, everybody. He is back.
Welcome back to hip hop.
Hip hop is back, and you'll
What
see him
song-
first time November 8th. We said it. We was like the Locks or something that he's got to come back.
Yeah.
Jada Kiss, the Locks, something like that. He's gotta
Money,
come back
power,
to.
respect. You just hear that dun 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 dun.
When was
dun,
Freeway
dun,
though?
dun, dun.
When was Freeway?
I mean, they could play like Rock the Mic. They could play.
That's what I'm saying. What we do is wrong.
Flip
When-
side.
When was that? Was that around the same time? That's why I'm asking. I don't know the date, but somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around that 2000s hip hop that we all appreciate. All right, everybody, we are going to hit a little bit of overtime here, so make sure you head to allphly.com TV. Thank you very much. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. on the fast channels. Head over to all PHLY .com. I just saw Gene Ross and he made me lose track on the Iverson 40 bars.
That's
not
that will
happening.
not be being played
And that's why
in
it's
front of
perfect.
children.
Perfect, Gene. Perfect.
David Stern just about had a heart attack when
Oh
that
my
came
God.
out, man.
Oh my God.
Provolone John,
He had
by
to
the
be called
way.
into the office for that. Yeah.
Provolone John said,
Manhattan.
I'm just saying, never seen Gritty and Bill Matz in the same place at
Oh!
the same time.
Just saying.
We're just asking questions, Bill.
saying.
If you would like to respond to the allegations, you're welcome on our show anytime.
Just saying. That is fantastic. All right, Bree. Let's get ready for some news and notes that we had here.
I have a sad news and note if you don't get
We were
to
going to
it.
get there
Okay.
but you can certainly bring it up for sure on that one. Bree, let's do the news and notes that we have here for this. Do we have it?
Bree was like, are you sure? All right, well, I'll talk about the sad news and note.
Yes, please go. Start there.
D'Angelo passed away today at 51. I think they announced it was cancer. I didn't see what type of.
I think they said it was pancreatic cancer. Yeah.
So obviously anyone dying at 51 is very sad, but he is a 101 singer, artist. Was also, his releases were so staggered between Voodoo and Black Messiah that when he dropped that album, I vividly remember it happening because it was just a moment in time, oh my God, D'Angelo came out of nowhere, right? And that was 2014, I want to say. It was 14, 15 years between his albums. But I think the outpouring you saw from people today when the news dropped from all these different corners of music and just the world shows you how profound his music was. So shout out to D'Angelo. Nothing more to say, really, but very sad news.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, tough. I mean, just that neo soul type of music at that time with so many people from even home where you have Jill Scott and Music Soul Child.
And Jill Scott had just shouted out D'Angelo yesterday, by the way, which was, I wonder if she
must have known.
She had got the news early.
And that circle of that genre of R&B is really, really tight when you go to Common and the Roots, and then you include the R&B singers, Erykah Badu, all of them in that mix. That is certainly something that, it was tough to hear. And I saw it after you did, and I saw your message. I think it was on Instagram. Yeah. And then I went and looked at it, and you just see everybody from everywhere speaking about D'Angelo. So that was a big impact. That album that he made, the How Does It Feel song, really, really took off. The video then happened, and it went crazy.
Dude, Bomani Jones used to post that to troll people, after their team lost an important game. He used to go and just look at this naked man and play the song. It was always a very good bit for a long time. The story I always remember with D'Angelo was the beat for Devil's Pie, which is made by DJ Premier, was originally offered to Cannabis. And Cannabis basically turned it down because he said the beat wasn't hard enough.
Yeah.
And it's bro, if you want to figure out one of the many reasons your career never amounted to anything, it's hearing the instrumental to that song and be nah, I don't need that. And then D'Angelo turns it into this timeless classic that people still listen to this day.
Yep. So sad news, lasting impact on music and a lot of people. So want to make sure, you know what? So with that one, that's going to be the only news and notes. We'll save the fun news and notes stuff for tomorrow. D'Angelo,
rest in peace to him. And by the way, I think didn't his wife his partner he had his kid with just pass away, I think, not that long ago. Mm-hmm. So obviously our thoughts are with their child who now lost both their parents in the span of 6 months to a year. I can't even imagine.
Yep. And it was a surprise to a lot of people because he's a private person and he kept it private. And rest in peace to D'Angelo. All right. On that note, let's get ready to say goodbye to everybody. We'll still do our news and notes regularly. And, shout out everybody. D'Angelo might get a shout out himself.
Hey, D'Angelo gets the shout out.
Exactly.
He leads.
What up, D'Angelo? Absolutely. Let's get to the world famous roll call.
Shout out to the legend D'Angelo to open roll call today. Guys, if you're still here with us, we love you more than most. I would love it even more if you could hit the thumbs up button on the video so we can do more nonsense talking about
Wait till you hear news and notes
mascots
tomorrow.
and Joel Embiid and all kinds of other silly basketball, Sixers related things. We have fun up here. You help us have fun, and we feel good. We sleep better at night. We send love to Bree by just hitting that thumbs up very quickly to say, you like this? You want to see more of it? You want us all to succeed and thrive. It makes us all feel better. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Thank you to L. Westmoreland, to Provolone John.
What up, L?
To Marty Bones, to Ray Philly 5.
Ray.
To God Named Tay, to Haidar checking in from overseas. What's up, Haidar?
Love
Good
to
to
see
see
it.
you.
Getting ready for the season.
Kyle Wright, Ishmael, Edward
Ish.
King, Val, of course, checking in. Elliot, Eugene Ross, Jess with the Purple Heart.
Hey, ladies.
We got 2 Al's in here today. We got our guy Al, the
What up,
2-minute
Al?
warning. We got Al Shell as well. Welcome to another Al. to
What
the
up,
show.
Al?
Thank you
Welcome.
for stopping through. Hello to Theo. Hello to Sam's Sandwiches, who I think was trying to spread the word of the Lord in our chat earlier. But be blessed, Sam's Sandwiches.
I could go for a sandwich right now. What up,
SUV
Sam?
Shogun, DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman.
Bring me a dream.
Vic, leading the
Healthy
win.
Embiid season.
Rat B, Brian Knight. Jorge, who I think was trying to...
Star of the chat.
Jorge was active today. Hello to Jorge. Marcus Blackstock, as always. Mikhail No Bridges.
Jorge?
Good to see you. Charles, who came in and said, I'm the 17th like on this video. Take pride in that like, Charles.
What up, Chuck?
We love to see that. Mellow 3-point.
Mellow,
Win
my
forever. Densley. Jesse Bond. My girl Nona. Of course. Chase Mudd. Greeny Green.
Don't chase that mud.
Say what?
Say what?
Tedfa, Coleman Potts, Dave P, Theo, Smy Guy,
It's my guy.
a.k.a. Smoggy. Shout out to Big Shot. Shout out to Hip Hop.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Alex.
Philly Moose. There will be justice for the Moose. Thank you guys all for being here. On the way out, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And once again, hit that thumbs up
Yes,
button.
L. We
to help
back, baby.
us out and make the channel better, bigger, and more improved, whatever it might be. Please do it. It helps Bree out on the back end quite a bit. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. for another show. Until then, stay safe, take care of one another. Goodbye.
See ya.
Need to put Kyle in there.
We all silly like the mayor.